Hi, precious soul. I'm Alma Marie, and welcome to another journey of remembering Alma. I would like to share a little bit of my story with you today. Where to start? These last 6 years have been a magical adventure for me. I left off with my last video explaining that my pivot point was really when I set an intention to show myself love. So I will start there. When I set that intention, this was in 2020, and I was just on the brink of collapse in every way, physically, mentally, spiritually. I was just breaking down. Phew, bugs. So I was on the brink of a collapse, and I was just exhausted from hating myself. All the judgment, the criticism, the self-doubt. It was just too stressful. It was too much. And I knew that it was coming from me. It was the inner thoughts. It was my voice doing this, abusing myself. So out of pure exhaustion and knowing that I could do more for my babies, that truly, I don't know that I would have been able to move through all of this and start this journey for myself, because I didn't have enough self-love. But I had 2 little boys that needed their mama. And I knew that I wasn't doing justice. I wasn't living up to my highest potential. And therefore, I was letting them down. I was not being the best mama that they needed. So with that, I started my journey. And the first thing I did after I set that intention was pull out my laptop and opened a document and made 3 sections for mind, body, and soul. And I just put out whatever I knew, all the tricks, exercises, practices that I was aware of. And then I started seeking more information. I started taking small daily actions. I was suffering from chronic adrenal fatigue, so I learned about that and how to naturally soothe myself. I was living off of caffeine, and so that was wrecking my systems in so many ways. So that was one of my first steps, was removing caffeine from my diet and actually giving myself naps, actually sleeping when I was tired instead of forcing more caffeine in my system so that I could just keep on. So many things that I did for my body. For my mind, I took radical responsibility for what I was consuming, what I was watching, what I was thinking, what I was saying, the conversations that I was in, the relationships that I was in. And then spiritually, that one was a big question mark for me. I did not grow up religious, and it just was not talked about in my upbringing. I considered myself agnostic, atheist at times. So for me, the only thing I had there was meditation. I just knew I needed to figure out the epic question, who am I? So I continued with these daily practices and learning more and adding more to that document. And that, without a doubt, changed the trajectory of my life, just small actions. But that wasn't the aha moment. That was a sudden insight, a sudden epiphany. For me, that happened in a meditation. I sat down one day and dropped right into this beautiful circle of beings. We were all in a big circle, and everyone was sitting in lotus position, like glowing these golden, radiant bodies. Our heart centers were all glowing. I felt connected by our hearts. And then I had the experience of source, creator, God, universe, whatever you want to call it. It cannot be named. Once you put a name and a label on it, you limit it. And so whatever you want to call it what you will. But source, frequency, just flooded my body, and it was unconditional love. It was the feeling that I have for my babies, just unconditional, no matter what you do or say. I just love you and you're perfect and I would do anything to help you. Purely unconditional. And that's how much Source, the universe, loves me, loves you, loves us. That's how much we're supported. That for me was my wake up. It was a feeling, an experience I cannot forget. You can't unknow that. You can't unfeel it. You can't forget it. And I actually, from that moment on, I suffered with chronic depression, actually from the age of 13 till 33. 33 is when I had my waking up year. And so for those 2 decades, I suffered with depression and suicidal ideation, and that was just life. I didn't think that would ever go away. I thought that was my baseline. And that went away. That went away completely after that moment. I will never forget waking up the next morning and having no stress, no tension in my shoulders. I didn't even realize to the extent, I knew I carried tension in my shoulders. I didn't realize to the extent that I was carrying so much until it was gone. And that was huge. And I have not felt depressed ever since that moment. It's kind of funny. I don't feel like I could fall in depression. Not to say that I couldn't feel that feeling. Of course, I can. But if you've ever been depressed, you know it's that feeling, it's getting stuck in that space. And that's something I don't think is even possible for me anymore. And yeah, it's so that's what I mean when I say life changes through your daily actions, as well as everything can shift in a moment. Your entire life, how you see everything, in an instant, it all changes. It's truly, it's a miracle. Miracles are possible at any moment. I get chills saying that. Miracles are possible at any moment. And the power to change is all in you. It's all in your daily decisions, your daily actions. And since that moment, my awakening moment, I have been on a journey over the last 6 years of adventure, initiation, activation. I've traveled to Egypt. I've traveled to Peru. I have experienced a life I thought was of my wildest dreams. I genuinely didn't think I would get to experience this much adventure and miracles and excitement. And I know that this is just the beginning. And that is what I want to share. I know what it is like to feel hopeless, completely hopeless. And I know what it is to live life of unlimited miracles. So I will share with you over the next few weeks the specific practices that I do daily that really help the most for me. And I hope that they inspire you. I hope that you do them with me. And yeah, I'll just continue to share. It's over the last 6 years, there's been so much. This story is epic, so I certainly couldn't share it all right now. I am an open book, so if you have questions, please drop comments, because that will really help me to figure out what is useful to share for you. Yeah, so follow me and let's continue to connect, grow together, and amplify each other on this journey of remembering Alma, remembering your soul essence. Until next time, sending you much love.